The trades are the backbone of our society here. They're the ones who built our infrastructure and the ones who maintained it.
So Neil, you and I met when we started through Leadership Cleveland, and now we're on the board of this organization that helps civic leaders. You have stepped into so many civic leadership roles in Cleveland. So Rock Hall, Engage Cleveland, Greater Cleveland Partnership, Facing History. You've really stepped into helping Cleveland. You also run this massive organization. Why and how do you do it all?
Well, I think that, companies within this region and the leaders within those companies really have an obligation to give back to the community. And really, that's one of the core values of Odie. And so to me, I think it's a responsibility and something that, that I really should be doing. But in addition, I really get a lot out of it. And, for example, you and I have gotten to know each other and become friends. And so, I view everything as a learning opportunity. And really the work I do on the not-for-profits, I think that it's really helped broaden my perspective on a number of things and helps me do my job better. And so to me, I think I'm actually getting back more than I'm actually giving.
That is a very learning model type of, understand this person better, bring it into your culture. Is that part of your leadership philosophy?
It is. We've been really focusing, particularly over the last several years, on the concept of empathetic leadership. And then so when we first started about the fact that, we really need to be empathetic in terms of how we lead this organization, a lot of people said, well, all that means is, we're going to be really nice to everybody. We're not going to hold anybody accountable. It'll be a free-for-all. And that's not it at all. What you're doing really is trying to understand their perspective. So for example, if there's an associate who is having, some kind of a, performance challenge, in the past, maybe we would just say, hey, this person's just not a good performer, and we work to, potentially just figure out how to exit them out of the business. But what we're doing now is saying, let's understand what's causing that performance issue. Do they have something going on at home? Do they have, something else going on in their lives that is causing the issue? And so by us just simply understanding where someone's coming from, which to me is what empathy is all about, understanding their perspective, it could help us really figure out what we could do to help them. And again, it's a win-win because they're able to maintain their position and we're able to keep a good associate.
I think this is the reason we're friends. This is it right there. We were talking about leaders. There's different types of leaders, but some leaders are here because they love the idea of helping people around them grow, reach their potential.
It's the right thing to do, in my opinion. It really aligns with our values, but it also makes us a better business. If we could have a more diverse and inclusive culture here, the statistics show, there's data out there that shows that companies that are more diverse are more innovative, they're more profitable, they have better retention of associates. So, for us, again, it's a win-win. But when we talk about, these topics, look, we're in a very polarized, environment today. But what we're trying to do is to get people to at least try to be respectful of other people who may have a different perspective than they do. I can't fix society, but, within Odie, what we're trying to do is if we can do it within Odie and we can help our associates, I do believe in the trickle-down theory that it'll spread out.
So Neil, I have this picture. While doing prep for this interview, I found this oldie but goodie from 1994. This is you from your 40 Under 40, and I saw this and I thought, hey, that's yours. You can put that up on your nightstand and admire 30 years ago. What struck me from this Crain's article was that you've actually been doing things related to plumbing for a long time now. You've been in multiple companies in this industry. Starting there, what's changed, especially as we think of innovation? What's gotten you excited as things have changed?
First off, thanks for reminding me how long it's been since I was under 40, but we won't go there.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome for that.
The plumbing industry has evolved, but it has been slow to change. In terms of, complete innovation of how plumbing systems work, I don't see that necessarily on the horizon. I think it's more, just continuing to figure out how to make things faster, how to make things, easier to install.
What types of things are in the future for your industry, for you, that really you focus your innovation on?
What we really try to focus on is solving problems for our customers. So, we can go through and develop a lot of things that we think are really cool and really great, but if they're not helping a customer or an end user ultimately solve a problem, there's not a whole lot of value to that. One of the things that we think is really important is that our products become easier to use, and so that they might be able to take less training in order to get people to be able to put them in. So we're consistently and constantly, I guess, trying to look at ways to innovate our products so that, again, they're more user-friendly. We're looking at how can we use technology to monitor plumbing systems, to, instead of, us being there to help fix something after it's broken, how do we stop those leaks, from happening in the first place?
I was on your podcast the other day, and it just struck me because there are so many folks in the plumbing profession that you work with and you sell with your products, but you're selling to this very kindred spirit to manufacturers, plumbers, and other skilled trades where just pride in making things and making things work is so, so high. And the rest of the world doesn't see that. How do you think about the pride in manufacturing and the pride in the skilled trades that you sell to?
Well, look, the trades are the backbone, of our society here. They're the ones who built our infrastructure and the ones who maintained it. What's a more important role, than that one? What the challenge is today is that there's less and less people going into the trades. So from a plumbing perspective, there's something like 60,000 plumbers who are retiring every year, and there's something like only 20,000 who are entering. And that's a huge gap. There is so much opportunity, and there's so much, just to be gained by going into the trades. And so, for people not to perceive that the trades is not only an honorable trade, but something that, is exciting and challenging and really good for people's families, is something that I think we've got to work to get rid of that. And I know you and I have had these discussions, and, the same thing goes for the manufacturing floor, where there's still, some people have this perception that manufacturing are these dark, dirty, dingy spaces, where, people are chained to machines, and it's not that at all. But we've all got to work, those of us in the industry, to try to change that perception. And so I think, as an industry, the more we can do to get kids exposed to manufacturing earlier on. I mean, manufacturing is exciting these days. I mean, it's all about technology and automation and data analytics, and it's all the fun, cool stuff that people want to do, but they just don't realize that they could do that, having a job, on a factory floor.
We want Northeast Ohio to be, the hub for smart manufacturing. It already drives half of the economy. So we know it's super important, but to keep it central and driving our communities that we love so much, what do you think it's going to take over the next 10 years?
I think as a region, we really have a very strong desire to do this. And I think we've got, all the, let's call it infrastructure here to make it happen. I think what we need is more collaboration. There's a lot of organizations in this community who are trying to do the same things, and they're not necessarily doing it together. And so if we have 10 organizations that are all trying to do, whether it's workforce development or innovation, and they're not working together, we're never going to get the scale we need to have this, be successful. I believe in this community. We have the talent, we have the resources, we have, I think, all these components. We just have to figure out how can we work more collaboratively together.